more initiatives to advance literacy in San Antonio. What we're doing this morning here is we're introducing the Mayor's Summer Reading Club. This is an initiative that is now part of SA 2020. The mayor has embraced this program, and we're grateful and want to express our appreciation for his support, because it's very important that we promote reading during the summer months, because children and students are in summer vacation. If they don't continue reading, studies have shown that if they read at least 5 books, they maintain their reading skills. If they read more than 5 books, they start improving their reading skills. And it's important so when they come back to school in the fall, they're better prepared to succeed, be successful in the school environment. And the mayor recognized that. The mayor's working with the library because we want to grow the program. Currently, last year we had about 23,000 students that signed up for the summer reading program. We want to grow that. We want to double that. And we want to quadruple that and continue to grow that over the years. And we can do it by working collectively with collaboration with the many partners that we work with. And I'm going to recognize some of those partners. And there's only a few of the partners. Of course, we embrace our alignment with SA 2020, Literacy San Antonio Reads, San Antonio Youth Literacy, Rotary International District 5840. Of course, the San Antonio Independent School District, we've been working more and more closely with them to promote the summer reading program. And for teens, Generation Texas and Cafe College to again reach out to teens. This year's theme for the summer reading program, we have 2 themes actually. One for the younger folks, younger students, they got a good book. And then the theme for teens, which was created in consultation with teenagers, is urban fantasy. And it was suggested by a Providence High School junior, Jasmine Jimenez. And I believe she's here, Jennifer. Congratulations, Jess. We want to recognize you for your efforts. And before I introduce our first guest, I really need to acknowledge the work of our staff. I'll start with Dr. Vicki Ash as the Children's Services Coordinator for the San Antonio Public Library. She has really taken a leadership role in developing and growing the Summer Reading Club. And I also want to recognize Jennifer Velasquez, our Teen Services Coordinator, for her work with the teens and getting teens more engaged and more involved and more interested in not only reading but the library. So thank you both for your hard work. You work behind the scenes, and I want to recognize you. Our first guest is one that needs little introduction, Dr. Robert Dulon, who's the superintendent of the San Antonio Independent School District. We have been talking a lot recently about the importance of reading, and the school district has joined the San Antonio Public Library to help us promote the summer reading program in their schools, and it's my pleasure and honor to welcome to the podium Dr. Robert Dulon.
Thank you, Romeo. Thank you, everyone. I mean, our participation in not only the libraries, public libraries, but the summer reading program is pretty obvious. I mean, it's self-serving. The research is very clear that if we can get students to read over the summer, and the research points out that if they read 3 to 5 books at their grade level, it's called a lexile level, that is the equivalent to summer school. So that's pretty dynamic, and we're doing the best we can to get that message out to our parents. Just on a personal note, I was just in conversation. I remember going to the library as a student and looking through the card catalog. I'm dating myself. Some of the younger ones are like, what is that? But opening the drawers and seeing all those cards and thinking there's so many books in so little time. And I also remember the first book that I read as a young boy that actually brought tears to my eyes and made me emotional. Wondering, why am I crying over this book? It was excellent literature. It changed my life because I just want to keep reading and keep reading. That's the kind of hook that can change a child's life in getting good literature in their hand and exposing them to those kind of things. Opening up their knowledge and their skills in reading is a real life change. We know that's obviously a skill for college. I want to commend the mayor. I gave up on rearranging my schedule meeting the mayor at our schools. He's in so many of our schools, I can't keep up with him. Those are my schools. So his commitment to education is very clear, and it's a very clear message to us, Mayor, that you're getting involved with this, and you're out get our kids into the libraries and getting good books in their hands this summer. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for including us. And again, we're very, very supportive. We appreciate your support of SAISD. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dumont. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize also from years back Deputy Superintendent Eddie Burks. She was supposed to be here, she might be running a little late. But anyway, I want to recognize her efforts in getting involved with us in this program. And I also see that Kay Lennox, President of the Library Foundation, is here, along with Tracy Bennett, Vice President. And I also want to recognize our Assistant City Manager, T.C. Brocknix. Welcome, T.C. Now it's my pleasure to introduce and invite to the podium Mr. Gene Montgomery with Rotary International. I heard him speak at the Education Committee for the Rotary Chamber talking about reading buddies, and so then we met afterwards, and we're all excited about the collaboration that we're planning together to promote reading. And please help me welcome Mr. Montgomery to the podium.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of Rotary, I'd like to likewise echo how important reading is. Our effort is with a community-wide effort. As you know, and maybe you don't know, 10% of our third graders are not passing the basic sight reading exam. And one would say, oh, what's wrong with the school system? Not the school system. They're arriving at school without having been read to from the time that they were babies until the time they got to school. And the schools just aren't set up to deal with that. So, what if, we used to build barns on Saturdays, right? What if we put the community volunteers in every second grade, in every school, throughout the city, throughout the county, to read one-on-one, 30 minutes, once a week, basically scaling up an already existing program through San Antonio Youth Literacy. So that those children that are at risk, that are identified by the schools, the program has already demonstrated over the last 5 to 10 years that by doing that simple step, we can raise a child through the course of a year, one full grade level, and for most cases, bring them up. And I can tell you, having read at Margaret Elementary for the last 8 weeks, I watched the light bulb go off in both of my little guys, believe it or not, in the same week, totally independent, and they got it. And they literally looked at me and said, oh, that's what this is about. Well, this summer reading program, that's what this is about. We ask that you join in SA Reads and support it. The summer reading program, and I can echo what you were saying, Doctor. I grew up around the Westfall Branch years ago. I remember learning all about the Civil War, because I think I read every book they had on the Civil War one summer, because I just got hooked. And that's what this is all about. If our kids get hooked on reading, they stay in school. They're no longer misfits, because think about it, if you don't know how to read, what do you do all day in school? Because in 4th grade on, you have to read to learn, so they become discipline problems. But this is the future of our city. And as I'm sure the mayor would say, this is San Antonio. We can do anything, right? So if we band together, we can literally build a barn during the week in our second grades. And we're going to be looking for volunteers because there will be 1,000 reading buddies in the schools come this fall in 6 school districts. But we want the kids here during the summer reading, learning to read, learning to love books. And I applaud you for what you did. Thank you very much.
Okay, I see we have another board member, Laurie Bloombeck. Laurie, you want to take a seat? Welcome. Well, it's now my pleasure to introduce to you our mayor, Julian Castro. But before I ask him to come to the podium, I want to acknowledge and thank him for his But it requires, as you all know, that to make great things happen, it's a collective effort. So he's been very big in bringing partners and building strategic alliances with many entities throughout the community to work together, to collaborate, to advance many issues that are important to the city. And the one we're talking about is literacy, reading. And so I want to publicly thank you, Mayor, for your support of the library in many ways, not only the summer reading program, but the international summit we had last year, and in other ways that we have supported the services and the mission of the San Antonio Public Library. I want to thank you for your role in helping us do better in serving the citizens of San Antonio and all of their common need. So Mayor, I'd like to invite you to the podium as one of our champions for the Mayor's Summer Reading Club. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Ramiro, and I really want to thank you and all the library staff, as well as Jean and the board, and Kay, and the foundation, and then of course the Friends of the Library, and each and every one of the partners who are helping to make San Antonio a brain power community. That is what I believe that we need to create in our city. We need to create a city that values literacy and education, a city right from the very beginning, when a child is born, that child's parents understand the value of taking a few minutes out of their day to read to their child, to be an effective first teacher to their child. And then as a community, we cradle that child, that young person, both family-wise and institutionally, in a culture that values literacy. And so the idea behind the summer reading program truly is to make it easy for young people to be lifelong readers and lifelong learners, so that they love to read. Last year I was here with Karina and Erica. They were sorry that they couldn't be here, but at home, Erica and I read to Karina just about every night at the Learning Center. I know they read to her, and I can tell the use of more words and vocabulary that surprises me. Fortunately, no bad words, which is good. As a parent, you're always on the lookout for that. But it's really neat as a father to hear more and more words, and more complex ones at that. And that's what I want for every single child in our city. And so our summer reading program can be a stellar success, but only if we have strong partnerships with other organizations in the community. And I want to thank Superintendent Julian and Patty Whale, my former colleague on the City Council, and ask other school districts to follow their lead in the coming years. And most importantly, I want to ask every single parent in San Antonio to ensure that your child is a part of the summer reading program. If that child is too young to read on their own, please take a little bit of time to come over to the library and read some books to them. Check out a few books and take them home and read them at home. If your child is in middle school or in high school, make sure that they come to the library, among the many other things that they do during the summer. We want for our students not to slide back during the summer, but to keep going, to keep learning, to be ready for the next grade. As part of SA 2020, we basically set 3 targets for our community when it comes to literacy and education. We want all of our students who enter kindergarten to be kinder ready. We want at least 95% of our third graders to be on third grade reading level, and we want at least 85% of our folks in high school to be college ready by the time they finish high school. That can only happen if all of us ensure that our young people learn how to read from the beginning and stick with it the whole way through. At the end of the day, that's not just a benefit for that young person, it's a benefit for this entire community. It means safer neighborhoods, it means better jobs, it means the promise of a greater quality of life for all of us living in this city together. So thank you all very much for being a part of the summer reading program, and I look forward to a very successful summer. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. To close the program, to make closing remarks, I'm going to invite Jean Brady. But before I invite Jean Brady to the podium, I want to say that some members of the program will be available She understands the importance of the service the library has to offer and the importance of reading. And so she's worked very hard as not only chair of the Library Board of Trustees, but working with the community and talking to potential partners and partners that work with the library to advance our mission, our literacy and reading mission. So I want to acknowledge Jean's work, publicly acknowledge Jean's work, because she works very, very hard. She's available practically every event and function of the library holds. And, time is valuable. So, Gina, I know you don't like the accolades publicly, but I have to, because you work very hard on behalf of the city of San Antonio, and you need to be justly recognized for that. So with that, I'd like to invite Jean Brady to make closing remarks. Jean.
Thank you, Romero. Well, I don't have anything else to do. I'm retired, It's what happens when you retire. What I'd like to add my welcome to the mayor and the other guests who have been here today. They say that the economy of the future will be an information economy. Well, I think that's already here. The ability to read, to access information, and to critically analyze that information. And that's the really important part, is to be able to read and understand what you're reading. That is crucial to the success of our community. We all want San Antonio to be a great city. And as the city's recognized educational arm, the library takes this responsibility very seriously. We feel like one of our most important functions is to foster and support literacy for our young people. And so we sponsor things like Little Red Wagon, our early literacy programs, school visits and outreach programs, and of course, the summer reading program. Because it's such a serious issue in our community, it's essential that every effort be directed toward the education of our children. The library plays a vital role in doing this. So once again, as we close, we'd like to thank the mayor for his understanding of the importance of the library and his adoption of the 2011 summer reading program. We hope we double it this year. Thank you.